is Kevin Ludwig. My shop is Dirty Hands Garage. I specialize in basic repair on Harleys and Triumphs, and I do some Japanese work and whatnot. Yeah, and some custom bike builds too. I love the One Show. I'll be honest, like, I'm not really a fan of motorcycle shows these days anymore. Just because you go to one motorcycle show, you've been to every motorcycle show. And when I got here to Portland, everybody was like, go to the One Show, go to the One Show. And I was like, I don't know if I really like shows. And I went to the One Show and I had a fucking blast. And the reason for me was, it's not just one type of bike. It's not just choppers. It's dirt bikes, it's flat track bikes, it's adventure bikes, it's fucking mini bikes and goofy, just stupid shit. And you can really tell that every bike there is just people having fun. Like, it's just people trying to have a good time. And they're just like, hey, this is what I've been working on for a year. It's really fucking cool. You know, that's a sick Harley, but this is also a, you know, weird Bultaco that I've been building forever. And it's cool to get like such a different group of people together, where it's like, it's not just the chopper scene, or it's not just the cafe scene, or it's not just the dirt bike scene. It's everybody in the same building, just having a good fucking time. Just the nature of Oregon in general, a lot of the roads out here are all dirt or gravel, rocks and whatnot. So there's not a lot of asphalt out here. So a lot of riders end up being more adventure riders or dirt riders and things. So the Harley scene is a lot more, I think, close knit because of that, because it's a very specialized like area, I guess. I guess kind of what separates my shop is, like, when I first started doing this, I was probably one of the only shops that was actually really working on these bikes. Besides a lot of older shops that were closing down, there wasn't a lot of Harley mechanics in town. It was you were going to the dealership, or that was it, you know? You know, there was your bike sat at some old guy's shop for 3 years and never got done. There's a couple other shops in town, and they're all great. You know, I'll be honest with you, they're all great people, and we all work together, and everybody kind of has their own little niche that they kind of work on, and yeah, it works out well for all of us. So.
What bike are you bringing to the show?
I believe, quote me on this, I think it's a 75 shovel. I don't know, I'm not gonna, I think it's a 75. I'm pretty sure it's a 75. Max is gonna fucking kill me. I think it's a 75 shovelhead. My friend Max, he actually worked for me for a couple years, and he built this bike while he worked for me. Basically, we found it as a roller up in Washington. It was just a motor and trans, some wheels and whatnot, and yeah, he took a lot of the skills that I showed him, you know, throughout the years, and applied them to this bike. And we took some ideas that I had from my older bikes and refined some ideas, and the whole basic idea behind it was he wanted a bike he could ride, and he did a really great job with it. There's nothing too fancy about it. Like, all the fancy parts are just like just a little bit of flash here and there, but everything's very practical and it's very subtle. And that's what, honestly, I appreciate in a bike that can actually, like, go down the road and go on those long trips, and you can go out and hang out with your friends in the woods, and you can put miles down, but it still has those little bits of flair here and there that actually make it something fucking cool, you know? It's practical, and practical choppers are fucking cool choppers. If you haven't been to the One Show, you should come, just simply because Portland's a lot of fucking fun, and we're all good people, and like, I just honestly have yet to be to another show in the United States that has such a welcoming atmosphere. And like, it's not just about the show, it's about, you know, going and hanging out at the bar afterwards, or going to the strip clubs, or going to like, just going to, last year we went to wrestling, you know, and just bopping around town. And it's such a small town that it's like, you end up running into other people that are obviously here for the show, and there's like, every year that the One Show happens, there's stories afterwards. You know, there's always like, oh, did you run into da-da-da-da-da, he was doing this shit, and like, blah, 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 was doing a burnout here, and there's always something going on, and like, it's come for the show, but like, stay for the town, you know what I mean? Like, it's there's something special that happens, though it's not just at that building, it's the whole town. You know, the whole town is the One Show, as far as I'm concerned, for the weekend, so.
Hey, my name is Dump Truck here with Royalty Racing out of New Orleans, Louisiana, and we are here at the One Show. We brought our land speed motorcycle. Basically, the idea around this bike was to create what Harley would have made if a Hayabusa existed in the 80s. Then it turned into a much bigger thing. Now it's not just kind of that a concept. Now it has a goal. We are going for the Texas Miles record in the standing mile race for Harley-Davidsons. No Harley at that track has ever gone 200 miles an hour in a standing mile, and this bike's gonna do it. We got it started the day before we came here, right before our 43.5-hour drive, because apparently we were stupid. And we're excited to get the thing tuned to the dyno and get it rocking and rolling. It's basically a coach quality land speed motorcycle. I mean, usually you see these land speed bikes, they're not only very capable, but they're made to get beat up. They're not always the prettiest things in the world. Well, we like to take a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, put it together, and that's Royalty. Luke and Patrick put this thing together, and they had a great vision in mind. They actually made it kind of look like an FXRP, and that's because they took an FXRP fairing and used it as a buck to do the metal shaping to get those lines they were looking at. And they took the existing design from the FXRP fairing and actually used it for induction. So you get that air coming through to go ahead and increase the ability for your bike to breathe better, which is necessary when you have a turbo like this. We've had a lot of partners with this bike, including Chopper House, CNS Swing Arm. S&S built this 124-inch motor specifically for the turbo. So everything you see on this bike has intent, and it was done on purpose, and not just by us, but by our partners. Our fuel management system is Haltech. If you've never heard of that name, they're very big in open wheel racing and a lot of other things. So we have engineering on a level that is not stereotypical for the V-twin industry that is a part of our land speed bike. I love Portland, Oregon. I lived here for just a blip, but I was able to meet some of my favorite people of my current friendships, and get to have that kind of reunion with those folks is awesome. And the motorcycle show is amazing. No matter what platform you're into, it is here. It is not just a V-twin centric show. Of course there are those that are there, boom, bang, pow. But there's also a lot of other manufacturers that are around, and a lot of other interpretations on what that bike should have been instead of what it came from the factory as. If you have a broader mind and you like motorcycles in general, this is your show. The One Show, brought to you by CC Motorcycles, in a town that is so good at food and beverage, you'll be fatter than me in no time. And I weigh 273 pounds, so watch out. Get them elastic band pants, you'll be ready. Oh, if you're not here, carry the one, go fuck yourself.
name is Susie Polinsky. My shop is Old-stf Cycle in Yuba City, California, and I brought a 1977 shovelhead. I'm at Portland right now at the One Moto Show, and I was invited to bring this bike this year. I built it for Born Free for the People's Champ competition, and it was just kind of a last-minute decision. I just came up with the ideas as I went. It's my first build. Kind of didn't know what I was doing, and I just had to learn as I went how to do the tools and welding and CAD drawings. Honestly, it went by. It happened so fast that I didn't have time to really pull a lot of inspiration from sources. I kind of had to use what I already knew, and I pull from everywhere: bikes, fashion, product design, just anything really. And I just kind of just made it up as I went and just designed, and somehow it all came together and turned out like that. Honestly, I don't know where that idea came from. I just sat down one day and in a CAD drawing app, I just said, I was thinking to myself, why do the legs always have to be round, and I just kind of experimented, and it does have suspension. It just has the standard internal components inside, and then the inside of the legs here have sliders. And so from the outside it looks rigid, but when it moves, it does have suspension, it compresses. So honestly, that wasn't the hardest part. To me, the hardest part were the wheels, because I designed those, and then we plasma cut them, and they're not actually flat from the side. They look flat, but from an angle you can tell they're 4 layers offset. And that was a pain in the ass trying to get them all straight and line up. So that was actually more of a challenge than the front end, I think. If you haven't been to the show before, I would expect big crowds. It just keeps getting bigger every year. And there's a lot of variety. It's a lot more creative and artistic. There's a lot of different artists and builders. There's race bikes, choppers, there's like a whole variety of stuff. And I think there's probably a good variety of stuff for different tastes.
My name's Rich Silva. I race for Good Times Racing, and we're out of Southern California. We're at the One Moto Show in Portland, racing at the Coliseum, which is pretty incredible. Drove up yesterday about, I think it's 800 miles or something like that, and we're stoked to be here. It's always a good time to be in Portland and race here. The track is definitely interesting. It is a little bumpy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone's got to race the same track, so it's going to be fun. We're going to do our best and have a good time. Just started racing 3 years ago. This is my 3rd year, and we race at Southern California Flat Track Association in Paris, California. That's our home track. And then we try to go around and race as much as we can. My wife, myself, and a bunch of our friends. It's a good time. I got really lucky actually with Lowbrow. I've been friends with Tyler for a long time, riding motorcycles, camping, doing a bunch of dumb stuff together. And he was happy to hop on board and help me out with the Lowbrow, with everything, you know, the tank. A lot of parts on my bike are from Lowbrow, and thank you guys. I'm proud to run it. This year I went up to Super Hooligan, because last year I was an amateur and I got lucky and won the whole damn thing. So I bumped up to try to race with the faster guys, see what I can do there. And yeah, and then doing the whole series, trying to do the whole series, but it's hard, you know, gotta work, gotta make money and spend the money, but it's a good time, we have a good time. Yeah, I have a 2002 Harley 1200, just a stock 1200. Well, actually it's super stock heads, but it is a 1200. And this year we rebuilt the whole bike with actual real suspension, because last year I ran all stock, and this year is actually a purpose-built race bike, so I'm pretty stoked. I have an SNS exhaust, SNS motor, Lindell brakes, thank you guys. Trying to see here. Oh, I got USA Parts too. They gave me a lot of the bling. We tried to build like a show bike and then throw it on the track just to do something different. Yeah, the One Show is definitely a good time. Everyone here is super fucking cool. Like, it's just a lot of fun, and I think we had a little bit too much fun last night. Kind of hurting, but we'll make the best of it.
Portland, Oregon for the One Motorcycle Show. And this is one of our favorite shows. Really cool assortment of bikes, racing, art, all the good things. We come every year. At Wild is a women's motorcycle apparel brand. And we're here for women who ride motorcycles, making sure they get some nice quality protective gear and still look good and feel good. Portland is such a cool city. We love coming to the show. One Motorcycle Show is one of the best in the country, in my opinion. And Portland is such a cool town to have it in. There's always a ton of cool stuff going on, and the community here is insane. If you've never been to the One Moto Show, you're missing out. In my opinion, it's one of the coolest assortment of bikes because there's all different kinds of motorcycles, really cool vintage bikes, crazy outlandish builds, and just a ton of really cool innovative stuff. So I highly recommend it if you haven't been yet.
Is this Andrew?
Yes, this is me.
Are you at the One Show right now?
I am not. No, what's up?
Did you have a good time at the One Show?
I had a pretty damn good time.
Did you leave something here? We might have
probably
found something that you left here.
Yeah, can you imagine what that might be?
Shake for Larry? I don't know.
Well, guess what? Can you hear the crowd in the background? Can you hear that?
I did, yeah.
You won a motorcycle, my friend.
No fucking way. No fucking
way. You won the Royal Enfield from the Russ Brown giveaway. You know, do you want to say anything to the crowd while you got your attention?
I mean, One Moto every year is just expanding and becoming the best thing in my life. This is so cool. I'm glad that you guys did the VMC this year, and everybody's been awesome, and this thing's been off the charts the whole time I've been there.
Well, thanks for coming, and we're so excited that you got the bike, and we'll work out the details on how to get it to you, and congratulations, my friend.
Well, thank you, Tor. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you later. So the next award is kind of an award that I like to give out to somebody that just sort of stands out in my mind, I call it the One Show Award. It's sort of the hyper-focus spirit that I like to see progressing forward, and just like, I don't know, I guess my feeling, I guess. How about that? So this award is gonna go to Royalty Racing, all the way out of New Orleans, and they built the Dyna land speed bike over here. Pretty amazing machine, and I think they have pretty ambitious plans with it, which is super cool. Hold that baby high.
Thank you, everybody. This is awesome. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody. One Show 2020. Awesome. And that's all I got.